Hello, I am Jan from Prague, the Czech Republic, and today we are taking a closer look at the Canon R6 Mark III, the third generation of one of the most popular full-frame cameras on the market. We'll see how it performs in different situations, from photographing dogs running through colorful leaves to autumn fog and even nighttime Prague. And of course, we'll also explore the key features like pre-continuous shooting for action shots and the open gate video, which records data from the entire sensor. Let's get started. I really believe we can sum up this camera with these shots. Here are some examples of dogs running, and you can clearly see that it is one of the best tests we can do. So the beautiful animals are running very quickly. I am using f4 just to test the focusing and sharpness, and yes, you can see easily that this is exactly what I was hoping to get. This is my dog, by the way. She is running through leaves, and the focusing is doing a really amazing job here. And the lens, yes, it's not the most expensive lens, we should say, but again, if I zoom to details from this shot, you can see it's still on the aperture 4. It's able to keep very good quality, and bokeh is quite nice. So again, I think that is the briefest possible summary of the camera. I'm absolutely sure you won't be disappointed. Of course, the dogs do not have to run, so here are a couple of examples of very nice, decent dogs, not necessarily fighting, and this could be a test of simply the most important feature, which is how well the sensor will be performing. And again, I was quite amazed, quite satisfied. And you can easily guess that this is with the 50mm f1.8 and some more examples. Beautiful light, beautiful dog, and once more my dog, and the evidence that even she is able to sit still for at least 1 second. One more scene, and really something which might look like from a horror movie, but please be advised that these dogs are best friends. They are not fighting, they are just playing. If you are able to use really incredible speed of this camera, you are able to get details like that. Obviously, I mentioned that the speed is one of the key features of this camera. These are the real pictures, but it's probably better to show you that screen recording, and you can see it's amazing amount of shots, and I think it was about 120 shots, so this would cover about 3 seconds. Then you have this amazing feature called pre-continuous shooting. What does this mean? It means that if I want, for instance, to get the exact moment when the tram appears behind a corner, it would be extremely hard, or well, impossible under normal circumstances. But if I half press the shutter button, the camera starts recording. So, and it's about 20 frames I'm able to get even before I full press the shutter button. So all these shots are actually empty, but thanks to that I am able to get the exact moment when the tram appears. The same here with a bus, and of course it makes sense primarily for, let's say, sport photographers who want to get the moment when a bike appears above the horizon, or when you're a bird watcher, we would definitely love the option to get the moment when the bird starts flying. Pre-continuous shooting. One more feature I really loved is something which is called the open gate video. Typically, if you are recording a video, you'd be getting that 16:9 ratio, but your sensor is not 16:9, it's 3:2 in fact, and you are able to ask the camera to record the footage to the entire sensor. It means you'll be getting a huge file, and it'll be 7K video, by the way, and it's quite amazing for the reason you can see here. So even if I decide that I want to crop it, or that I want to do a vertical video, I'm able to do it in post-production. One more example here from the app. You'll clearly see that, yes, now I'm recording the normal video, and now just by one touch, I am able to ask the camera to record in open gate. For instance, in this situation, I would always get the table wrong. The table never gets horizontal, so I'll be definitely using that Vltava River in the downtown Prague. And if I decide, yes, I want that to be a normal video, horizontal, yes, please, I can do several versions. Or if I, for some reason, need to crop it to vertical one, again, no issue at all. And one more example, amazing trees in mystic fog, and I think that I'll be using that very often. By the way, you've seen the screen recording of this app, and it should be pointed out that finally, after many years, the Camera Connect app does indeed work. It sounds like a joke, but it's not. For many years, it was a really pain to make it running, and over the last couple of months or maybe a year or two, it works very smoothly. So let me just tell you that you should definitely try it. It gives you not only ease of mind that you are able to see what you are recording, but it gives you quite impressive level of control. And now I suggest we just walk in the downtown Prague. The weather is not nice, it's November, so do not expect bright colors, but still I think we are able to get nice shots, and I'm really sorry that I'm going that quickly in that huge pace, but what I really want you to see is a lot of examples of what to expect from this camera, because obviously apart from the speed, which is amazing, what really matters is what do we expect from the 32 megapixels on the main sensor. And well, again, you can see clearly that you won't be disappointed. I am using full aperture f4 just to test how the speed of the focusing. Some more examples, beautiful Prague, some details, and peacocks. If you've seen some of my reviews before, you probably won't be surprised that I'm using a lot of peacocks, because it's very easy to test these features on these amazing animals. And here is one shot, and I was able to crop it, and even if I really crop it a lot, you can clearly see that the results are really nice. Some more examples, some more beautiful peacocks, a light, and so on. And I again apologize for being so quick, but I really honestly feel that what really matters is that you have a chance to see a lot of examples to really decide on your own what you like and what you might not like. But again, I think you'll like it a lot. One more note, if you want, you're able to use shooting into HDR PQ, which you might know. If you do not know, you might check my video, link is here, and it gives you an option to go to the new world of HDR. Beautiful forest just outside of Prague, and a fog and a nice atmosphere of November. And yes, of course, running crazy dog of mine. So one more set of interesting situation, interesting scenes, magic fog is covering these beautiful hills and forests. And let me just remind you that all these shots are unedited. So these are the results you would be getting in JPEG directly from your card. Of course, I was taking them in RAWs as well, but editing RAW would be just too complex for that introductory video. So we'll get to it somehow later. So all these shots are unedited JPEGs directly from my camera. One more view of beautiful fog, and let's go back. A couple of notes about the settings and the controls we have here. You won't really be surprised, because again, as in the case of many cameras before, we have that MFN button, which is quite important, because by hitting it, we are telling the camera which of these options do we want to change, and then we can do it through the rollers. Again, it's nothing really special, but it's quite effective way of operating this camera. Well, you can change, of course, anything you want, from wide balance to AF settings and all that stuff. And then you have the second option. You are able to hit the Q button, which opens you the option to navigate and change and set all the stuff through that view of the display. And well, what I am doing here is one of the most important features, of course, which is detection, the option of the camera to detect animals, people. I was using animals, but frankly, even if you leave people there as the default option, it will work anyway. What obviously matters a lot is the ISO speed. So I have prepared that comparison from ISO speed 1600 up. Here we go, 25,600 and 51,200. Here are some details. Of course, at these levels, you would expect there would be a lot of noise, but it's not that bad, given the fact that we are operating with 32.5 megapixels. 64,000 is the maximum maximum of what the Canon gives us as the default option, but still, even for shots like that, this is the detail from the previous one, it's not that bad. If you want, you're even able to expand the ISO speed above 100, and yes, of course, you won't be surprised that you'll get a lot of noise there, but again, if you want, for some situations, it might be really a life-saving tool. If you want to go back to the ground, let's see what happens at scenes like that when we really need to push the ISO up to capture some movement. Again, no real issues here, so do not be afraid that these levels would spoil your shots. One more example, a guitar player at night, nothing really serious. Yes, I mean, if you would zoom to the shadows, to the dark parts, you'll see some issues, but for common usage, it's perfect. And even if you go to 12,800, where many photographers just would not dare to go, you would still be reasonably safe. And once we stopped here, let me show you a couple of more examples. Night Prague, celebration in the center of my beautiful city. This is obviously great option to check what we can expect from that camera. And as we go through these examples, and again, I'm going quite quickly because I really want you to have a chance to see many examples, let me just point out that yes, indeed, Canon R6 is for not only amateur photographers, but also for people who really know what they are doing, for advanced photographers who do not need extreme speed and extreme hardware tools, which you might get from R1, R3, or even R5 Mark II. So I do not actually think this is a camera for beginners, not at all. I think it's a great tool even for advanced or professional photographers who do not really need extreme performances. And some more photos from downtown Prague. And finally, once again, my dog. Let me just thank you that you made it up here, and I do indeed hope I gave you a bit of inspiration. Take care. I'm Jan from Prague, the Czech Republic.